I feel that I need to preface this review by letting you know that I really dislike dogs. I didn't say I'm not really a dog person. No, no, no. I actually dislike dogs. It's always been my thing. That's how I feel. I love cats, but I wish I never had to see a dog in real life. In cartoons, they're fine. By the way, if you come to my house, my wife has a dog, so that also tells you, and it's a big one, so that tells you how much I love my wife. That every day I'm reminded, oh man, I really love that woman. So when I knew that there was gonna be a remake or sequel to Cat Lady with dogs, my feelings were like, mixed. Honest, again, I wanted to point that out so that if you think that may color in some way my opinion of the game, it's your prerogative to think so. But honestly, I play games about topics I'm not interested in all the time, and if the game is good, the game is still good. Cat Lady, the fact that it has to do with cats and I like it, it's a bonus because what I like mostly about that game is the elegant simplicity of its drafting mechanism. So, Dog Lover, the theme is a minus to me, but if the game is still good, I'm still gonna play. And in a nutshell, Dog Lover is the same general idea as Cat Lady with more steps. I believe they didn't want to give exactly the same thing, just with different illustrations. So they added rules, they added complexity, they added more procedures. The question is it worth it? Do you get deeper and more sophisticated gameplay because of that? Or is it just the same fun but more work to get there? We'll talk about that. Generally speaking, you have a grid of 9 cards. Each turn, players will collect some of these and then they'll bring them to their personal area. These cards do different things. They score in different ways. The idea is that you will want to collect dogs, of course, because they give a lot of points. But there aren't as many dogs as I thought. There are long stretches of the game in which there are no dogs out, and that was a bit surprising. You also need to feed them. Dogs have a food requirement, so when you collect a food card, you immediately discard it to gain a cube indicating different kinds of food that at the end of the game you need to match in order for that dog to score you points, otherwise it is a penalty. So again, the dogs sometimes don't come out early, you're just collecting random food because it seems like the good thing to do at that point, and then the dogs come out and you don't necessarily get the ones that want the food that you have. Other things such as favorite thing, then those will score based on how many different favorite things you have. For example, this would be a set of 2 that will score me 3 victory points. That's how those score. Trait, you attach it to dogs, but only of a specific kind. The dogs come in 3 sizes, small, medium, and large, and so suppose I only have small dogs, so I really don't want to get this card that will do nothing for me and will force me to discard food. But if I do have it, then I can tuck it, I can attach it, and there is a lot of these cards that do that. You can tuck, attach to other cards, so it's a little more complicated again the Cat Lady. And as you can see, they do different abilities. For example, when you attach it, then you can tuck a limited unused food cards for 3 victory points. So you're trying, there's more of an element of engine building when you get these cards that allow you to then feed the card itself to create more points. We have the adoption cards that allow us to get new dogs from the rescue center. They come out of that deck. 3 of them are available at any given time. They also need to be fed, and they will allow you to score extra points each in a unique way. And then we have tricks, which is the biggest mechanical change for me from Cat Lady. Everybody starts with a basic standard trick that indicates basically how the pattern, the diagram of cards that you can collect. So for example, I could collect these 3 cards, or these 3 cards, or these 3 cards. I can also turn it, and I will collect these 3 cards, but I cannot mirror it, which doesn't make any difference here, but it may make a difference when you have some of these advanced tricks. If you collect training cards, you can discard a number of them to get new tricks, and the cost is indicated here. And so for example, again, then I would be able to do this but not to mirror it. And the same would be here. I can turn it around but not mirror it. Now it's dogs, and dogs I guess can be really protective. So here we have the watchdog, which is this game piece here. The watchdog will be watching a line or row of cards and prevents you from getting more than one. So if the watchdog is sitting there, then I could take these 3 cards or those 3 cards. I could not take these 3 cards. It would be okay to take vertically, because then I'm only getting 1 card from the line that the dog is watching so carefully. This limits me a lot more, because now I cannot take that way or that way, because it would be 2 cards, or this way either, because that's a big problem, as you can see. So after you take from after you take from the grid, you will move the dog to the location indicated by that symbol there. So if, for example, I'm taking these 3 cards, using this card this way, the watchdog moves here, and then we replenish that, and I got my new cards, which I will do different things, place in different locations in my play area, depending on what they do. Again, collect scraps, etc., etc., etc. You play until you reach almost the end of the deck, as indicated by this card, which is placed towards the bottom of the deck, depending and how deep depends on number of players. Once this card is revealed, you continue playing until all players had the same number of points and at the turns, and then you score victory points, and that's how the game works. So, dog lover, cat lady with more steps and an interesting general idea here. But when I was playing the game, I just kept missing cat lady. I just kept missing the elegant simplicity of cat lady, and I didn't really feel that all these extra steps do all that much more. In particular, I found that I was spending quite a lot of time trying to avoid cards that would hurt me, rather than, oh, I'm gonna build this at that, rather than getting the feeling, the satisfaction that I was building towards something. I just spent a lot of time just avoiding cards, which is not exactly the most fun kind of things that you can do. Then it was nice, the idea of having the dog tricks, different dog tricks, but as you just saw from that example, they can be very situational. Then you spend cards to get new dog tricks. They don't really do anything for you. You can't take cards. You're stuck taking fewer cards than when you had the basic trick. And so it looks like that's one of the problems. In good day game design, to me, the best options should also be the most fun. So you have not just a rational incentive to play well, but as you do so, the reward that the action is fun. Getting more tricks should just not be something you invest towards, but it's fun. But then you can't use them. You get stuck with these cards here, and then it's kind of like annoying. So it's weird because there are more effects, but I guess you have more effects, more things to consider with still just the same grid as you had in Cat Lady, with a bigger restriction. So those extra effects, again, they didn't feel to me like, whoa, they opened up a world of strategy. Rather, they opened up a minefield that I was navigating, trying not to step with the wrong card that would hurt me. So, I like when an elegant game adds some extra layers of strategy if, again, that results in precisely that more strategy. I don't think this does quite as much. I don't. I again, you know what? If the other game didn't exist, I probably think this one is good enough. But just the same theme, the same style, the same idea. It's unavoidable to compare the two, and not just because of the theme. I just don't see any reasons why I want to play a simple drafting game of this kind. Why we played this one over Cat Lady? I don't feel it has a lot more strategy, while it does have more homework and more steps. Again, some of you don't like cats at all, but you love dogs so much, and then for you the theme is so good, it's so nice that it makes up for maybe these other things. But again, for me personally, the theme doesn't appeal to me, and the mechanics are just not as compelling, as they didn't draw me in the same way as those of Cat Lady did. So again, between the two, not just because of the topic, but because of the mechanics also of the two, to me, Dog Lover is the weaker one.